Hey, good afternoon, and welcome back to another session of Coach's Conversation Cafe. I'm Coach Buckley, and I'm here today with Adam Valencia, who is the CEO of Reconnecting Youth Incorporated, and he'll be joining us as we interview. It's a pleasure for me today. We have a special guest in Rick Nordell, who is the head water polo coach at Biola College, men's water polo. And not only is he the head coach, but he is starting the program. This is the first year ever for Biola to have a men's water polo. So a lot of questions for Rick today. I was blessed to have had Rick when I was at Golden West High School as an athletic director. He was our water polo coach and just did a fantastic job. In fact, he won championships back to back. He won a Division II championship. And then the next year, even though he could have been Division II again, his boys said, "Hey, coach, let's go for it, Division I." And they beat, it was the first time in 25 years that a
23 years.
23 years that a Clovis school did not win the water polo championship. And he ended up, I was at that game. What a phenomenal game. And they won the championship in Division I. And Rick's just been a great friend and a great coach, and really does a great job with parents and communicating. And so we're pleased to have him. So you listeners, you're in for a treat today. Our conversation today is about recruiting. Since Rick is just starting a program, we thought, we want to talk about recruiting and what that involves. And first of all, I'm going to have Rick just give a little bit of his background of how he got involved in coaching at Biola and a little bit of his water polo background. So go ahead, Rick.
Thanks, Tom and Adam, for having me on. I really appreciate it, and just a great opportunity and a great podcast that you guys are putting out here. That's fantastic. I started playing water polo. Yeah, I was a swimmer growing up. I started playing water polo in high school, continued for a couple years at junior college. I had fantastic coaches, and that was one of the things. Coaches poured into my life, and it was something that just created a love of the sport. And actually in college, after my first couple of years, I decided to switch my majors and go into, and kind of my career focus, and go into teaching, because I wanted to teach and coach. And that kind of got me started on a path. Even in college, I started coaching with my, as an assistant coach with my high school coach, and then went on my first job at Hanford High. I coached there for 4 years, and then was at Golden West from 94 through 2016, coaching the water polo team during that time. And as Tom said, we had some great successes along the way. We've had years that were tough as well. Just like any coach knows, you go through some highs, you go through some lows, but really just had a great opportunity to impact the lives of many players and to touch the lives. And just, I feel myself being, blessed more than they were, during that time, because it just created some great relationships with both the players and the parents over the years. And actually, it kind of led into how I got this job. It was about a year ago, it was last January, that I got a text from a parent of a couple former players of mine, who sent me the screenshot of the job posting at Biola and said, "Hey, I saw Biola starting a new program. I think you'd be a great fit for the program." And I texted her back immediately and said, "Oh, that would be my dream job." My daughter went to Biola. My nephew, who we raised, went to Biola, and lots of fans. We've had connections with people that have gone to Biola for the past almost 2 decades. And so, what do you know? A year later, I have the position, I have my dream job, I guess it is. And who would have known that it would have ended up being right during the pandemic? So that's kind of where I'm at, where I've come from.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I love to hear you say that, because you impacted so many players at Golden West and kids. And, and that's what coaching's about. Adams coached, he was the head football coach at Mount Whitney. And it's the same way with him. He had a group of kids that he had for 4 years that he really impacted their lives, and he's still impacting kids today. And I think that's something that sometimes we forget as coaches, is that how important because it's down the road. It's the future. It's, it doesn't happen right away. And sometimes you wonder, am I making a difference? But well, Rick, when you're starting
Hey,
a
Tom.
water polo program like you are, how, especially with this pandemic, how, you can't see kids play. So what's been the challenges of recruiting right now, and what have you been doing to help yourself recruit some good water polo players?
Yeah, that is such a good question. When this first started, in my mind, I thought, oh, great, this is, if I get the job, it'll start during the summer. During the summer, there is a huge water polo event called JO's Junior Olympics, where I would say probably 75% of those playing water polo come out to a huge tournament, either in Southern California or in the East Bay area. Every year it kind of bounces back. It's always in California, but you have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of teams that come out and play in this JOs. And I thought, oh, this is the perfect recruiting spot. I'll go out and see all these players play. And, as COVID hit, that reality fizzled away. And we, that there goes a lot of my recruiting right there. Then I thought, well, surely by fall season, the sports will be back up and running. I'll be able to watch them play during the fall. Yeah, it's a little late, getting going on the recruiting process, but it'll still work, and see their championships and go to tournaments. And that didn't materialize either. So it was, I guess the good thing about this is I've never had to recruit before, so I don't know what a normal recruiting year looks like. I had envisioned what it looks like, but I've
Yeah.
never done it before. So because of that, I just kind of jumped in and started reaching out through reaching out to high school coaches, reaching out to community college coaches, because I kind of wanted to recruit on two different levels. One, obviously, those that are graduating from high school and moving on, looking to continue playing at the collegiate level. And then also those that have played a couple years at the community college and are looking to step up to that next level, to the 4-year college. And, community colleges are just a great place to develop a player a little more, to get them ready for that next level. And we are a Division II school in a very, very competitive league that has both Division I and Division II school teams in it. So it was reaching out to those coaches, and really I just kind of tell people that I started casting my net really, really wide, and reaching out to coaches, going on to recruiting websites, and just started sending out massive amounts of emails to students and said, hey, here's what we are, Biola. We're starting a new program. This is what Biola stands for. Biola is a Christian college. And so trying to be very upfront. Here's our mission statement. This is, what we're looking for. And then I would start to, I slowly started to get some emails back from recruits, and we call them PSAs, potential student athletes. So I started to get some emails back and started making some phone calls, and just kept doing that and doing that. And I've probably talked on the phone to over 100 players over the course of the last 6 months or so. Met with probably a couple dozen of them on campus, and met with their parents as well, just showing them the campus and talking to them, trying to answer any questions that they might have, and all the time trying to learn, knowing, when I say, hey, do you have any questions for me? I knew I probably didn't know the answer to those, but I always knew that I had great support of Biola that I could go to and find the answer. So, but it's been, it's been an interesting process. People ask all the time, how's recruiting going? And I say, well, I've signed 16 players so far, which is good. I kind of want, and my goal, actually, the athletic department's goal for me is around 20 players, give or take a little bit. And so I'm getting close to that goal. But when I say, yeah, I think it's going good, I haven't seen most of them in the water. I've seen 2 of them I got to watch practice at one practice. All the rest of them, I've seen some highlight videos, and that's it. So it's going to be interesting when I get them all in the water and really see what they have. I think it's going well, but I can't say that for sure until August, till I get them in the water.
Yeah, that's great.
So really, that's the only time when you think about it, Rick, when will you actually get to see them? I mean, obviously you can probably see them through Zoom, But when will you have them actually in the water? So not until August?
Not until August. Technically our first day of practice is August 20th. Our first game, we'll have a tournament on a weekend of September 4th and 5th down in San Diego. So that's the first that, I'll really get them. We might be able to do a little something over summer if we can get a club going or something along that line. But for the most part, that's when our real season will start up. So yeah, it's been interesting, and I just keep telling myself, hey, everybody's in the same boat. Everyone's trying to recruit during this. Difference is, I am recruiting an entire team and not replacing 4 or 5 athletes, seniors that are leaving. But it's still the same principles. Everyone's just kind of going at it a little bit more, I'll say blindly, but we don't get the whole picture. I don't see an athlete's water polo IQ by watching them up and down the pool and positioning and defensive skills. The highlight video tends to be a lot of them scoring or making an assist, but not as much on the defensive side, which is to me, super important part of the game. But all of that will, again, I'm looking not just for the players, but looking for just some quality individuals that, Biola, being a Christian school, we get to not only coach them, but we get to mentor them. And it's just a great opportunity.
Yeah. And the difference for you too is that, and this is for the listeners, Rick got hired and then he had a whole year to recruit. So he didn't actually miss a season, which is good.
Oh, that's.
But is your season, Rick? I can't remember. Is it a fall or a spring sport?
It's a fall sport.
It's a
so
fall
we will
sport.
Be starting
so you would actually start playing this next fall, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So you have you been able to recruit any local kids from our area, from Central area?
I have one local kid that just signed this last week from Tulare, and that's it. I'm talking to some players in Clovis, and actually some of the Clovis, to me, Clovis was one of the schools that always is one that you shoot for. They always put together such great programs, and so my first thought is I'm going to recruit some Clovis kids. And talking to some of the coaches there, they have some, but they're more for the next year. They have some in mind that would be a good fit at Biola.
The kid from Buchanan that I had talked to you about? His mom was a great athlete at, I think he's from Buchanan, or she teaches or coaches at Buchanan, the mom.
Yeah.
But, I forget her name now, but she was a great athlete at Woodlake. My father-in-law was really high on her.
Yeah, you'll have to send me his name and I'll reach out to that guy. Yeah, definitely.
Robles, I think was her name. It's not her married name probably, but yeah, she was a heck of an athlete. Huh.
That's good.
Well, the other things now, the thing, like I said, in high school when you were coaching, one of your biggest assets was how you handled parents. And I'm wondering, what have you been able to do with parents? You said you had some on campus. Obviously, you probably can't go to their home and visit. That's difficult with this pandemic. But what kind of things have you been doing? Anything with parents or, to help them with your recruiting?
Yeah, not outside of just kind of two specifics, I guess we could say. Is one is, as a recruit kind of moves up higher onto my list, and at PSA, that's one that I really want to invite them to campus and just to show them Biola. I think Biola does a great job of kind of selling itself. If I can get them on campus, I feel that they get the feel for what Biola is all about. And even though it's kind of a limited version right now, of that because of COVID and the school lockdown and being pretty limited of what they can come on campus and do. But I do always encourage them. The PSA is my potential student athletes, the recruits I'm looking at, to bring their parents, bring their families so that they can see it. And then that gives me an opportunity to meet them. It gives me an opportunity to answer any questions that they might have. So that's one of the areas. I've also met with some on that can't, that I'm interested in, but just because they're from another state, or some I've talked to a family in Canada, and because it's not feasible for them to come to Biola, I'd meet them on Zoom and meet the parents and meet, answer any questions that they have. But outside of that, not a lot of communication, other than every once in a while I can direct them to, they have questions. So direct them to our admissions counselor that works with our athletes, or someone in financial aid that works with our athletes as well, and just kind of give them the resources, kind of like Adam, you had mentioned, providing resources for these students that need some help, doing that with the parents as well, just trying to, because not being new to Biola and not knowing all of it, I am able to find, hey, who knows that information, who I can point them to that can give them a lot further information and better information than I have.
Yeah, and Rick, one last question here for me. There may be some athletes listening and some parents listening right now. And is there anything you can tell an athlete or a parent that says, how do I involve my kid, or what can I do to help promote my student athlete, how to promote them to get any kind of a scholarship, whether it's water polo, basketball, baseball, anything? What are there some things that you see that are helpful? Like, are the videos helpful that people used to send in and that? But like you said, most of the videos are of them scoring.
Yeah. Even though it is a highlight reel, and you got to keep that in mind, it's a highlight reel. It is definitely beneficial, because when I have a highlight video from one individual and absolutely nothing from another, all things being equal, I've got to go with the one that I have a video that I at least know some information. Now, again, I talk to their coaches. I try to get a hold of their coaches and
Right.
any potential athlete that I'm really looking for. But to answer your question, what can parents do? I would say definitely do the video thing, because you never know when you're not going to, a lot of, especially water polo is very isolated in California. A majority of the players are going to be California. Yes, we've got little pockets here and there, and I've got a player coming from Oregon and Washington, and talking to one in Illinois, but for the most part, a majority of them are in California. Whereas other sports, chances are you could be playing baseball for someone out in Kansas, and you may not get out to, they may not be able to get out and watch you. But if you have video, that is at least something that, parents can do. The recruiting websites have really been helpful for me, in that I can find a lot of players on those recruiting websites, send out a lot of emails, and like I said, cast my net really wide, and draw in those that are interested. And
Yeah.
then another part of that, I would say, for parents is, not just say, hey, my son or daughter wants to go on and play water polo, and I'll send them to whatever college accepts them, but really find a good fit. I try to do that with Biola. And again, being a Christian college, we are looking for athletes that, have a Christian background, that are wanting to come to Biola because of the Christian environment, just what they provide there, as well as, at Biola, every student ends up with a minor in Bible over the course of their 4 years, whatever they major in. They also end up with a Bible minor, as well as lots of chapels, mandatory chapels that you have. So I want it to be a good fit. And there's been individuals I say, hey, listen, you're a great individual. You're going to benefit a team greatly, but I just don't think Biola is a place
Not a
for
good
you.
fit.
And so
Yeah.
I think helping parents to understand, hey, it's not just finding them a place to compete at the next level, but finding a good place that they would really fit in. And
That's a good point.
that would be some advice to parents, and that is keep reaching out to coach. And most of my interactions have been with the student athletes themselves, but just keep reaching out. I've had lots of players that really just kind of keep reaching out to me and show the interest in, and those are the ones that sometimes I kind of keep pursuing, because they just seem to be really wanting to play, and if they've got the skill level and the size and speed that I'm looking for, then keep moving forward with them.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Adam.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Rick about scholarships. Because you're a Division II school, how does that work for you? Or is there academic scholarships available? Obviously, but what about athletically? How many scholarships are you provided?
Well, it's not so much a number as it is an amount that,
Okay,
and
oh,
it's
an
up to
amount.
me to kind of decide that. So to answer your question, first of all, yes, the Biola does offer academic scholarship. Yes, we do offer athletic scholarships. These are what are called stackable scholarships. So whatever they get academically, I can stack on athletically on top of that. And really,
That's great.
because it is a small school and we are a new program, I'm not able to provide a lot of full scholarships, but I do provide quite a few partial scholarships. And what I try to do is take there, and many of my athletes are very good students and are getting really good academic scholarships. And Biola is very generous with their academic scholarships. So I'm able to stack on some athletic scholarship on top of that to bring the price down, because it is a private university. It is pricey, no doubt. And but it brings it down to the cost of more like a CSU or something along that line,
That's
and
great.
make it more feasible. And I've talked to some parents. I said, well, and then you come out with a car payment like debt as opposed to a house payment like debt. And I think that's
Yeah.
that's a little more manageable.
Yeah, a little more manageable. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I just want to piggyback on that one point you said about trying to have kids find the right fit for them. I know when I had some players that wanted to go on and play, I'd always tell them that, try to think about the schools that you're interested. And is it something that you want to get in there and play right away, or is it something you want to have the academic part of it? But find one that fits you, and then go. A lot of these schools have camps. Go to their camp and their summer camp, and so that they can see you, and that way they take notice of you and say, hey, I want to keep an eye on this kid and watch him next year and see how he does in high school or whatever, if he's a senior or whatever. And I think that's always a good point too, is that if they can go visit that and go to camps, kind of see what they think of the coaching staff, if that fits their personality as well.
Exactly. I would say that is a great advice. And I know Biola, some of the other teams, we aren't up and established yet, but some of the other teams do exactly that. They host camps on,
Camps, yeah.
I know volleyball hosts camps on campus so that they could look at a lot of student athletes, and those student athletes can look at Biola and take
Right.
a look.
That's
Also, another thing, I think most schools do this, and Biola does this, is student preview weekends, where someone that's interested can come for the weekend, come on a Friday. They room with a student, they room with one of the athletes on campus. If there's a water polo player, they room with a couple water polo players. They go to some of their classes with them. They'll go eat in the caf with them. They'll go to, if there's some sports games like a basketball game or a volleyball game going on that weekend, they'll go to that, and they'll get to practice with the team, and just to see, hey,
Get a
who are
good
the
feel
guys
for
that I
it.
might be playing with? What are the coaches like? And again, see it if it's a right fit, not just saying, hey, I want to play and it doesn't matter where I play, but take it a step further. Yeah, I want to play, but I also don't want to, I've talked to many athletes that have gone one year, and after the first year didn't like the team that they were with, didn't like the coaches that they had, and I thought, well, God, probably should have figured that out prior to, and had that opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rick, hey, it was a pleasure having you today. It's always great to see you, and we look forward to seeing how your water polo team does. I hope I can get down south and watch a game, or if you're coming up here, we'll try to pick a game and go see it.
I hope you can. Yes, we do
Yeah.
play. We do play. Fresno Pacific is in our league, and
Oh,
so
nice.
we will be up here playing them at some point. Fresno Pacific, UC Davis, are both in our league.
All right.
Great. Well, thanks for your
Well,
time,
great.
Rick. Certainly appreciate it. Definitely.
We
Thank you for
appreciate
having
your
me.
time. And so again, we'll see you guys next week with Coach's Conversation Cafe. I think next week we're going to have a special guest that is a athletic trainer that owns a gym, and talk to him about some of the new kind of training that's going on with athletes. So, but Rick, we appreciate you, and thank you, and everybody have a great day. See you till then.
Thank you.